Hey everybody, this is Miss Dietrich, and we're going to clarify just how do you turn a fraction, like the ones that you see here on the left, into a decimal. Hopefully you know that if you just simply take the numerator and divide it by the denominator, in this case 1 divided by 2, you can get the decimal equivalent. Now this one works out evenly. 2 goes into 10 5 times, so we get an answer of 5/10. So we would say that that finishes because it works out evenly. We'd say that that's a terminating decimal. If we were to do 1 divided by 3, we might set it up like this, 1 divided by 3. Now what we would find is we would find that it would never finish. We could just keep getting the 1 left over. We'd bring down the next 0, and it would just keep going in 3 times, and we would get 3 times 3 is 9, and we just keep getting the 1 left over. We could add as many zeros as we want, but the 3 repeats. So we call that a non-terminating, or in this case a repeating decimal. Since the 3 repeats, we would use the bar notation to write that looking like this. If we were to do 1 divided by 4, that would terminate. We would get 25 hundredths. If we did 1 divided by 5, that terminates. We would get 2/10. If we did 1 divided by 6, we would find that that does not terminate. It does repeat, and it starts repeating when we get to the 6. So we would write that as 0.16 with the bar over the 6 to show that that repeats. Now, the reason why I highlighted this is because this is kind of an interesting case because we're looking at a prime number here, and there's a little rule that I want to show you about prime numbers because you might wonder, well, how far out do I have to go to get that to repeat? If we were going to do 1 divided by 7, in order for us to find a pattern that repeats, because we would get 0.142857142857, that number would repeat. Now there's a little rule that I want to show you down here, and here's what you need to know. For the pattern, the period is 1 less, or a factor of 1 less, than the prime number. So in other words, if you have a prime number of 7, that means you would go out 6 places to find the repeating. Here's the example. 7 is prime. 6 digits would needed to start the pattern over again. Now if we were to do something like 1 divided by 17, 1 divided by 17, we would start and it would look like this. Now that's a prime number. If you think about what's 1 less than 17, you would get 16. I wouldn't find the pattern repeating until I got to this 0 right here, and then when we do the blue zeros, you would start to see this very long number that would be 16 digits long. It would start to repeat. That's helpful to know because sometimes you're going to have these division problems. They'll never work out evenly. And if you know that if it's a prime number, if you know this little rule down here that I just explained, then that will help you to understand whether or not it even has a chance of repeating. All right, 19, let's talk about that. If we were going to do 1 divided by 19 and find how far out would I have to go with the zeros, that's a prime number. That means you'd have to go out 18 digits. So visualize, 18 of these zeros. And then when you got to that 19th zero, you would start to see the pattern repeat. All right, let's go back and make sure we understand what this means. And let's go back and look at these also. If we did 1 divided by 8, that would terminate. If we did 1 divided by 9, that would not terminate. We get the repeating 1. If we did 1 divided by 10, that would terminate. We'd get 1/10. If we did 1 divided by 11, that would not terminate, and we would have it repeat. We would get the 0.090909, so we would write it using the bar notation. Now here's something, a little factoid you should know. It's going to terminate if the denominator has factors of 2 and 5. So just to give you an example, like if we had the denominator of 30, that has factors of 2 and 5, so that would terminate. All right, let's see if there's anything else that I want to go over just to make sure you understand this idea of turning a fraction into a decimal. So basically all you need to know if you're turning a fraction into a decimal is to take the numerator and divide it by the denominator. And if you get that repeating thing going on, especially if you're looking at a numerator of 1, just ask yourself, does it kind of fit this little pattern that we've been talking about? All right, good luck doing more of those in the future.